3 videos one day. Ah! Anyways, so I'm walking around. I'm making me some food. So, not to make you dizzy or sick or whatever, but I tend to pace when I talk on the phone or record videos. It's kind of my thing. So, sorry, but got to do it. So dairy. Whew. So food allergies. What did I get hit with? I'm allergic to sugar beets, which are broke down to make sugar. So sugar cane. And once you get far enough down, it's really hard to know the difference. So I typically just do as little sugar as possible. Everything I drink is 0 sugar. I don't like sugar in energy drinks, pops, anything really. So I try to keep sugar really low. I think the biggest thing I have with sugar in it is Welch's fruit snacks. I have a thing for those now, so I do that. But sugar-free energy drinks or pop, or I don't do sugar in my tea anymore. I used to be a big Southern tea person, and I don't do that anymore. So sugar beets, which I have tried to figure that out. If anyone knows anything about that stuff, that'd be helpful to know. But sugar beets was a weird one. Shrimp, which I've had shrimp, so I said I've had shrimp. I've ate shrimp forever. And they said shrimp's one of those tricky ones where it's not necessarily you're allergic to shrimp, period. It's like you could handle 5, but the 6th one you would have an allergic reaction. Or you could have 9, but the 10th one would give you the allergic reaction. So that makes it really hard, so I just don't eat shrimp. But I'm not allergic to shellfish or any of the other stuff. No meats, no spices that they test for. But milk was a big one. So when I first did my allergy testing, they had all my environmental, and they had all my food stuff. Bees I'm allergic to and I do react to, but I can't afford the shots to try and help with that. So I do have insurance that covers my environmental shots 100%. So I was doing that for a while, but then I started reacting pretty heavily when I started getting toward the end of the 3rd bottle, because they go in colors. And at the end of the 3rd bottle going into the 4th color, I started reacting really bad. So I'm on hold around 3.3 to 3.4 till October to see if I get any better, or they might have to figure something out. But allergies has been wicked. I had something hit me, a bug or a plant or something, and my hand swelled up, and I couldn't use it within an hour of whatever touched me. And I went to the hospital during work and had to go get that taken care of, which was a joke, because the hospital just threw a barrage of, they gave me Benadryl, they gave me ibuprofen, muscle relaxers. They just threw everything at me at once instead of figuring out what happened, and just said, hey, it looks like the swelling went down. Does it still hurt? Okay, go home, come back if you need to. So it was kind of a pointless trip, and kind of irritated me. But dairy, I've had small reactions. I definitely notice a reaction difference between if I've got gluten from something versus dairy. The pain and the gut stuff is very different one to the other, and dairy is definitely worse for me than the gluten. So I've had reactions where I've, just get busy. I don't think about it. I make a bottle for my youngest child, and I don't think about the fact that when I made her bottle and I shook it, that tip of your finger, you cover it and you shake it, there's dairy on your finger. Well, then I go have some chips or something and eat with my hands. So now I have a little bit of dairy and I get sick, but it wasn't horrible. So a couple weeks ago or so, I came home. I hadn't had time for eating my lunch. And so I was like, I'm going to eat. Got everything all set up. I'm excited. Saw that the wife had gotten some gluten-free chips that I like that are like Pringles. And the color difference is insanely close from the a regular salt, no flavor, red original chip to their barbecue, which is a slight reddish brown. Unless you actually held them side to side and look at them, if you were just a quick glance, you wouldn't notice the difference, which is what I did. And it was on the shelf where I keep all my chips and gluten-free stuff. So I just grabbed a can of chips and was like, I'm gonna have chips in my sandwiches, and I was ready to go. I pop a chip in my mouth, and I tasted flavor, which when you're dairy free, there's not a lot of chips with flavor you can have unless they're vegan. So as soon as I tasted the flavor, I grabbed the can and saw that there's milk in it, and it was a barbecue chip. So I went over and spit it out, tried to wash out my mouth. Was like, oh crap, this is gonna suck. But nothing happened all night. That was 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, nothing. And I was like, maybe I got it out and it wasn't enough and I'm good. And then I woke up at 1:30 in the morning. Felt like I was breathing fire. It felt like I couldn't breathe. But something I suggest you get just to get, because we all have medical problems, autoimmune, allergies. Even if you don't have any of that and you just have medical problems, this little thing right here, it's a pulse and blood ox monitor. It tells you what your heart rate is and what your blood ox is, how much oxygen you're getting into your blood. And you want to be, when I worked for an oxygen company, you want to be above about 90, 91. But if you look up stuff, it says that if you're having an allergic reaction, do not go below 92, or you need to go to an ER. So I had that on. I do have a Garmin heart rate monitoring pedometer watch thing. But my head wasn't working. I couldn't figure out how to get it to show me my heart rate or to do a blood ox on it either. So I was just like, I can't get my watch to work. I made my wife go get that at like 2 or 3 in the morning. But my blood ox was like 95 to 98. My heart rate was a little low for me. It was closer to 50. But it was still in a safe place. So because it felt like I couldn't breathe, but my blood ox was good, my head was working, I didn't have any swelling or anything like that, I did not do my EpiPen. That's an emergency only. Your throat is swelling shut, you can't breathe, you can't stay conscious, stuff like that, like major things. Otherwise, I won't use my EpiPen because I do have one. But it felt like I was breathing fire, like I was standing in an actual fire, because I've been around fires, and the heat from the fire, like that's how it felt. My guts, I can't even describe that pain. It's not a stomach ache. It's undescribable. It really is. And the pain was so bad, and it kind of crawled up my chest, and just everything hurt. And it just kept coming out of me. And I finally passed out from the pain. And I thought I was going to die. It's how I felt. I mean, my vital signs were good, but I felt like I was going to die. And that was the first time I really grew a fear of dairy. My wife read a report where a little girl died from dairy in her toothpaste that they didn't know about. The one I read about today was Owen something. I forget his name. I apologize. No offense to the guy. He was a teenage actor. There was dairy in his chicken or the sandwich or whatever he had at a restaurant, and it killed him. So it's part of why I wanted to jump on with all the celiac stuff, the gluten stuff, the allergies. people aren't taking us serious, and it's a problem. It really is. People think it's a joke. People think it's not real, and they're not the ones in pain. They're not the ones that have to check every little thing they touch or do. Because of my gluten issues with celiac, I already kept kind of a distance from my kids because they're not gluten free. My special needs son, who's fully disabled, can't have wheat, but he can have other stuff I can't, oats, things like that. But they don't have my diet. And they're kids. They're, you can tell them to wash their hands and their face as much as you want, but there's crumbs all over them, stuff like that. So I'm not as touchy-feely with them. I don't hug them and wrestle with them and stuff like that as much as most parents probably do, because in my head I'm just worried I'm going to get sick, and I'm tired of being sick, so I keep a distance, and it sucks. My oldest kid is catching on to it, and he understands. So he's always worried, and he's very careful. He does really good. But now with the dairy thing, I'm even more afraid because there's dairy in everything. Everything. You think gluten's hard. Dairy's, I feel like it's harder to find dairy-free stuff than it is to find gluten-free stuff. So that has been huge, and it really affected the videos because I was doing a lot of gluten-free stuff and saying, hey, I'm a pretty severe celiac. I can't handle like anything at all. And now with the dairy thing, it's like there's a lot of gluten stuff I can't test because it has dairy, and it's really hard. There's not a lot I can do. I have a few restaurants that I go to, but I still worry because if they mess up, I get sick. So, they're, he said no sour cream, my bad, and they just scrape it off or something, and I still get sick. So it's a very serious thing, and it's something I'm going to go over a lot and talk about a lot, is the allergies and the fight to get better with the allergies. When I first got the allergy thing, I thought they said, we have all your allergies figured out. We're going to make shots. You'll take shots. It'll get better. And I was like, cool. I kept eating dairy. So then I go in again, and she's like, oh, you haven't been eating dairy, right? And I'm like, oh, no, you're going to do shots. It's cool. I'll just stay on it. And she was like, no, food allergies are not, you can't fix that. That's permanent. And I was like, I already have celiac. You can't do this. And she's like, I'm so sorry. So it's been a very hard thing. And that was last September. And I'm still just kind of a whiny little kid about it. It's just, I miss cheese. I miss just eating things. And more is being taken away. I went to a dietitian for a little while. A registered dietitian, like not a nutritionist who just tells you stuff, an actual dietitian. And she helped get my guts to a better place so I can handle things. But for a while there, she made me go lean on my meat. And I was like, look, lady, you take away meat, and you might as well put a feeding tube in me or kill me, because all I have left is meat. I'm a big meat eater. I like exotic meats and rich meats, and you can't take away my meat. That's all I got left. So she helped me take some stuff to get my stomach better, and I haven't had as many issues, but I do take it easy. I don't go crazy like I used to. So that's kind of been the journey with the allergies and the dairy and stuff. It sucks. I work outside. I go in people's houses every day. I go to anywhere from 3 to 7 houses a day. And I have a wicked cat allergy, and it's like I can't tell someone you can't have a cat or whatever. I just got to deal with it and work around it as best I can. And I'm allergic to everything outside, and I'm constantly having to walk through trees and bushes and whatever to get to stuff I have to work on. And it's just a pain in the butt. It really is. It sucks very bad. I hate it. I'm not in an adult place to be like, well, that's what I gotta do. I gotta do that. I'm still in a very whiny place with it. So, if you're going through any of this, let me know, man. It's helpful to tell each other. If you have any ideas, helpful stuff, I know I had a customer told me to try essential oils. Everybody's got a thing that they think works better, and that's cool. Let me know. Let everybody know. Post down below. Let us know about it. But I'm going to go eat and figure out some stuff for my trip tomorrow. And if I can, I'll post some more videos. See you later.